Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the official ARK Podcast number 217. My name's Coach Mistletoe, and I'm here live with the core team. Your host for tonight, as always, the one and only Mr. Atlas. Please take it away, sir.
Thank you for the introduction, Mr. Mistletoe, and folks, welcome back to another edition of the ARK Daily Podcast. This is Monday, June 5th, podcast number 217. That's right. And speaking of podcasts and the numbers, we'd like to let everyone know that we have been approved over in YouTube to be able to upload all of our content. They have some limits for new accounts. You have to go through certain verification to qualify. So pretty soon we'll have the whole library of the 217 podcasts live. We're going to be doing chapters every day going forward. It would be too much work to dissect the endless hours that we spend here on the podcast and record it. So the idea here is to, every day when we upload, have those chapters created so folks will be able to easily and efficiently manage their time, get the information that they want. If they want the introductions, they'll be able to go to that chapter and listen to it. If they want to see the wheel of the toad, or they want to see the Spark rewards, or maybe the DeFi sessions, or the breathing sessions on Monday with Coach, which, by the way, is coming up here shortly. Can't wait for it. He's got something planned, and it is effective. The Heat won yesterday, and he had, I'm sure, a lot to do with that. So let's get on that bandwagon there of winning with the breath of Coach. Great to have you here, sir. So that's very, very exciting news. Great work today happening here in the background. Brett Marie is going to tell you more about it here shortly. But yeah, we're really, I think, in a fantastic position. Let's go ahead and bring up the stats. Let's see what's happening on board the ARK. Very positive feedback coming in, folks, from the optimization of the foundation. A very fair system allowing the investors to make their own decision. Some folks are even talking about having a part of their investment over in LSA, saving up for their legacy NFT, another part sitting into foundation, earning their BUSD. There's so many ways to play it, and it really comes down to every individual player to take the time, do their due diligence, and decide how to play it. But if you're looking at the Dune, if you're looking at analytics, if you're looking at the smart contracts, you're definitely seeing the big money. The smart money here on the ARK is shifting into the LSA. They've taken the time to look at the roadmap. They've spent time here with this team. They've seen the quality of the work, the integrity, the passion, the vision, and they want to be on the side of legacy NFTs, the partnership with this team, with this community. I think we're at a point that we could even call it not a community, but a family. The culture here is absolutely amazing. The content creators, the folks understanding that quality things take time. And there's going to be ups and downs. But it's the long-term vision, what we've always explained from day one. That's what we're here to accomplish. That's what we're here to do. And we want as many of you folks as possible to come on this fantastic journey with the team. Let's take a look at the stats. We have another, this is the second time it happens, where our feed is showing up gray. So let me just go ahead and read it out to you folks. Total vault accounts 5,416. Liquidity over on the PancakeSwap, that is 215,920 BUSD. IOC reserves 329,356 BUSD. And our price is at $1.22. We're seeing some movement come in, some buys. Sells are definitely slow down through that. ARKNet pre-seed, 130,000 ARKNet tokens. Going back to the vault, virtually burned. but we have to get the rally. And we understand that as the products come out, the on, the off ramp, our presentations on Zoom, there's so much momentum that's going to be building up here, folks. And we're patient, we're understanding that very, very soon we're going to be seeing here a movement, a new audience, and as well, the current investors finding a fantastic DCA opportunity to ape in. But it's going to come down to every single one of the investors to understand that the foundation has been optimized, that the bank run that occurred is not going to be able to happen here again, folks. And that's very, very bullish. And I think it was done in a way, staying true to the integrity, to not betray the community, not put extreme taxes, not put extreme limits on the cells, change the whole game, and pretty much make folks and their crypto hostage within the smart contracts. We've seen that done time and time again. That's not what we're about. That's not what we're here to do. We're here to let the game continue to play, optimize, give folks options, and rally, fight for our price, not drag our feet. And this is all coming together, I think, perfectly at the right time. So calm, cool, and collected we are. Spark price pool at 712.46 ARK. That's a street value of $869.20. And our MVP, winning 10% of that, while it ends in 0068. They've had 13 referrals today. That's a total of 753.09 USD. Let's get to crypto and let's turn it over to Brett Nordine. We can hear from him.
Clicks and clacks just before you turn it over.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
I'll go ahead, Atlas, while you're getting that set up. Yeah, we're doing really well with the LSA. I would say there's a lot of great discussions going on, people weighing their options and, discussing, do I want to stay in the foundation? Do I want to go the LSA route? And then we're seeing the influx into the LSA. I think yesterday we looked at it was about 63,000 in that contract, and today we're pushing up on 70,000. So some good growth. I think we might see 100,000 by Wednesday when the contracts go live. And that's when also you'll be qualified for Spark and your referral rewards if you are putting into the LSA. Up till now, I guess that's been one of the biggest questions that we've seen is why aren't I seeing my Spark qualification or the referral rewards show up when I'm going into the LSA? Those won't be available and those benefits won't unlock until Wednesday when we do the contract redeployment, where we're going to redeploy the foundation, the legacy NFT, as well as the LSA contracts. So when all of that's working and playing together, that's when the referral rewards will come live, as well as the Spark qualification. So everything will kind of be working normally at that point. I've been going over the foundation white paper just to see what kind of tweaks we need to make for Wednesday, and I should have all of that live and pushed by then when we do the contract redeployment. Other than that, we're just still working really hard. I've seen Alex in and out of the chat, but he's also been really focused on the on and off ramps as well. So getting the final touches done on those. And so after we get through this redeployment, we'll have some dates and those will come very quickly. So we're looking forward to that. He also just pushed a notification in the main chat I saw that now on the LSA UI, we can see the USD value of what you're depositing in there. That was kind of a blind thing. You're just dumping ARK or dumping bond in there, but it's hard to tell what your USD value is. And if you have a limit that you want to hit, well, say it's $1,000 because that'll get you the silver NFT. You might overshoot it if you didn't know what the exact price of or value of the bond would be, or the value of the ARK would be that you're putting in there. So anyway, it's a nice feature update. If you do have any other feedback on the LSA, please feel free to comment on that. Otherwise, I think it's working very smoothly. Haven't seen a whole lot of issues or tech support type questions about the LSA, other than not sure why the referral rewards aren't showing up or the Spark. And as I mentioned, those will take the redeployment of the contracts on Wednesday, and then all of that will be live and working smooth. Other than that, if you haven't taken out your bond in the foundation by Wednesday, then it will be subject to the new rules that we kind of laid out yesterday, and that will be in the updated white paper for the foundation, which will mean that when you do try to withdraw your bond, the portion of ARK will go into your ARK vault. If you've already reached the 4,000 max deposit limit in your ARK vault account, then those ARK will be virtually burned back into the tax vault. So that's the kind of biggest change in regards to the foundation, but that's also how we protect the price of ARK and prevent the depreciation of the price during the bank run. We've got several different announcements going out, as well as the little pop-up button that's on the DApp. So if you're unfamiliar with that or you weren't around yesterday, feel free to check that out. Check out the links. It describes what the changes to the foundation will be. And then also review the new page in the white paper regarding the legacy savings account, which is just underneath the legacy NFT on the left-hand side of the white paper. And the little drop down below the legacy NFT, you'll see the LSA page there as well. So that's about it for me, Atlas. Anything else you wanted to cover?
No, that's perfect. Thank you, Brett. Appreciate it, brother. And
you're welcome.
Yeah, let's go ahead and shift on over to the breathing session for today.
Can you put the camera on?
You just need to click the camera button there, Coach.
Oh, okay.
There you go. We see ya.
You see me? All right. So you can stand up if you want to stay sitting. That's okay. But today we're gonna learn what I call the El Happy Breath 30.0, which is it's a technique that I use like 3 times a week, where we do standing meditations for 10 minutes, then we do movement with breath for 10 minutes, then we lie down for 10 minutes. But we're not going to do 10, 10, 10. We're just going to do like 5 minutes meditation, 5-minute movement and breath, and then lie down or sit down for 5 minutes. And the whole time we're doing circular breath. So for those, most of you I see have been around, so that means that you're going to continuously breathe and try not to stop, even when we're doing movements. And all the movements will do like counts of 5. So one movement can be like inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And we're going to do 5, and we're going to do movement all through our body, and then we're going to, you'll see. So the idea here is to really to be able to integrate your breath with movement or with life. But we're going to activate it. You can go real slow and do that, but today we're going to do it fast so we can just let go of all whatever negative energy we might have. You know, we want to release it all, clean it out, and just get very clear. So abundance starts coming in again, and we're going to start, taking off, and the ARK is going to take off. So, play with me if you want. If you don't, that's your choice. But we're going to start it, and Mistletoe, you can start playing the music. We're going to start standing up. Let me see. Can everybody see me?
We can see you. I'm starting the music right now.
All right. So go ahead and stand up. You're standing up. Put out your arms. And we're just going to get right into the music. So just relax. Notice how you're feeling. So all breathing right now is just scanning your body, scanning your mind. Relax your knees a little bit. And just observe what you're thinking. Follow my movement. So we're going to start with the neck. You're going to inhale up, then down. So we've got 5 times. Here we go. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Keep it going. Now hips. Nice circle. The other way. Now we're going to go a little harder here, all the way back. 4. Stay with the breath. To the legs. Woo. Stay with it. Notice your breath. Take it out. Don't do the tap. But stay with the breath. Next. Here. High. Hit it. Next. Next. Feet. Here we go. Let it all go. Back. One out of it. Ready? Take it out. Good breath. That's it. Keep going. Slow it down. Start breathing through the nose. Maybe out the mouth. If you want to breathe in the nose and out the nose, just keep it going. Slow. You might be feeling some heat, some energy. Keep the breath. Next to the energy. heart. Send that energy out. Let it all go. Just notice how you're feeling. Just slow it down. Just slow. Follow the breath now. Let the breath breathe you again. Maybe create an intention for yourself, whatever that is. Inhale it in, and then let it all go out into the universe. So thank you for playing. May we all be happy, healthy, wealthy, and free. Thank you. Peace, balance.
Yay!
I'm powered up.
It's a good thing my stream didn't start for another almost an hour, because otherwise I'd be all winded and a little bit sweaty and warmed up. Now I have a chance to
It's a
chill
fitness
back
studio / breathing studio. Thank you. Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, thank you. That was cool.
Yeah, so you could play with it, you know. It's like that took about 15 minutes. But I do like a 10-10-10, or I can do 15-15-15. It all depends. Or 20-20-20.
Coach, I find in general throughout your different breathing sessions and different things that you teach us, I find that the breathing pace is often much quicker than normal. Even just, we'll do like a 5 breath something or other, right? And it's like in, out, like much quicker than I'm used to breathing. Is that sort of seems to be a very common theme with everything, almost everything.
Yeah, because that's my intention. But you can slow it down. Like even what we were doing there, right? So if you're going to do movement with there, you can just go slow.
But I mean, is that kind of part of it as we're practicing these different breathing techniques? Is it sort of, is part of the point to have like extra oxygen coming into your system by overly breathing?
If you do that, well, you're actually releasing CO2, so you don't want to continuously do that, but it's a way to activate. So most of the time I'm just helping people activate, because we're so stuck in front of a computer all the time. Like I even get that, even with breathing that fast or faster, people are saying, oh, I just, like coach just put me to sleep. So, but you can play with it. There's some people that are slow breathers, and there's some people that are breathing too fast. So you have to kind of like balance it out depending on each individual. But
and so sometimes with the more rapid breathing, my head starts to feel, I guess the best way to describe it would be tingly, a little tingly. Or I feel like the pressure inside my head is a little bit higher than usual, kind of a thing. Is that normal, or is that?
No, that's normal. You know, when you do this kind of breath, it all depends. You know, if you're breathing too fast, you're like releasing a lot of CO2, right? So that's going to activate all kinds of stuff. You know, but and you're not used to bringing all that oxygen into your body, into your head, and all that. So there's tingling. There's a spiritual thing to it. A lot of the tingling, people think it's energy, but it's really releasing. It's the resistance that we have in our cells that's releasing, and then eventually you're going to feel the energy. You'll know when it's real energy, because it's going to flow. But it's all good.
Yeah, and I like that.
How do you feel now?
Yeah, I feel good, and I liked that particular session. It almost had sort of a little bit of an aerobic workout type of a bent to it. So that was kind of cool. I'm like, I've been meaning to start exercising more. I watched an interesting podcast talking about, especially older dudes like myself, 50 and beyond, how super important, you got to get like at least 6 hours of exercise per week to really have any chance of better longevity and stuff like that. So I've been meaning to get a little more.
No, that's okay.
Coach.
I'm 71, so I'm, like.
Yeah. By the way, you're looking pretty svelte there, dude. You're looking pretty good. Good job.
Hey, Coach, would you mind sharing any element of your diet as well? Are you more into like what kind of? Do you have any kind of skew to that, or diet style that you could share? Because that complements the breathing and whole lifestyle, I think.
Yeah, well, I stay away from meat. Like I was a vegetarian for a while. Actually, I was a raw diet guy for a while. When I met Atlas, I was a raw guy. I would just eat raw, and then I did different diets. But eventually, I got away from meat. I can eat it like one time, every 3 months or something. If I go to a party, I don't resist it anymore. But, if I do eat, I might eat some fish, like, salmon, maybe some tuna. But it's mostly, soups. And, I have this thing called cachaba that has about every plant in it, and I have shakes, protein shakes. And I have to have my Cuban coffee in the morning. But I have it now with mushrooms. Mushroom coffee.
Amen. Morning coffee.
mushroom coffee with, you heat up the water, you put the mushroom coffee, and I go, no, I need my Cuban coffee. So I put a little Cuban coffee in it and a little like cream, and I'm ready to go. But what I do, I have, plant-based protein shakes. And then I breathe. If I don't walk, I practice, yoga. Like I did yoga this morning. So I do yoga now 3 or 4 or 5 times a week. I used to do it twice a day, 7 days a week. Like early in the morning and then in the evening. So.
Oh, wow. That's wonderful. What kind of mushrooms do you use?
No, it's called Kaisi. It's a brand, and it has like 5 different mushrooms there for that support your healing.
Okay. Yeah, I looked into lion's mane,
Yeah,
chaga,
that's
all the good stuff.
that's all
Yeah.
in it. The name of the mushroom, the brand is called Kyze, Kyze. But but it's all, if you were, I did a lot of sports, so I always did exercise. But 3 years ago, I had to get both my knees. I had replaced, and it's I had that challenge. But hey, I got out of the hospital. I was walking, and and I walk now. I used to run. But the breath, I do probably an hour, 2 hours of breath every day, conscious breath every day. And I think that's been a big part of it. At one time, my shoulders used to be up here. I was so tense, and I played football, so I used to lift a lot of weights. In about 2000, I practiced Tai Chi. My Tai Chi teacher basically said, Roberto, your shoulder, this one was almost in your ears, how much stress you had. So he told me to quit, doing weights. And from that day on, I stopped. Then I started doing Pilates, yoga, Tai Chi, and I never touched another weight in my life. I do it's all the yoga. Now it's mostly yoga. And then I do Tai Chi movements in the morning after I run. I do this whole form that I do. But but it's all tied into the breath and movement, because you need to do eventually you have to do movement, or you're not going to live too long.
What kind of yoga do you do?
I do vinyasa, ashtanga, yin yoga, whatever yoga they're doing in the class. But I was an ashtanga guy for about 5 years. If you know ashtanga. And I was certified when I was 60 with yin yoga. Not yin yoga.
Are those any of those?
Vinyasa yoga.
Are those you do in like a hot room? Like, are those any of those you do in a hot room? Like the yoga?
I've done hot yoga. It's good. That has a sequence, and you have to go there and sweat. That's good. But you can sweat just doing normal yoga. But it's not about the sweating, it's about the breath.
I'm thinking, because I like to be efficient, I'm thinking a yoga with breathing. That way you get your stretching and you get your good intentions. And maybe throw a little bit of gratitude in there at the same time. How do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Yoga is all about the breath. That it became physical in the Western world, but it's all about yoga. It's just union with the universe or with God or whatever you want to call it. But it's really quieting your mind and breathing. Originally, all the Indians used to meditate, and then they started doing movement to be able to open up even more of their channels. So that's kind of how the short version, how yoga started. But it was all breath. And being able to use your breath so you can move through and relax, quiet mind, and connect.
Yeah, it'd be wonderful if that was an option to do a yoga / breathing session to combine things.
I just did what I just did. All those movements, those are Tai Chi warm-ups.
Aha.
Which it's kind of like that's my yoga. That's one of my yoga. I do regular yoga, but you can actually do that, and that's your yoga. Walking can be your yoga. Music.
Yeah, flexibility is important. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, folks.
Thank you for this, Coach.
Anyway, that's
Thank you. We're getting carried away with time, but it's okay.
Yeah.
We're having a good conversation. we're all learning, we're all breathing, we're all bullish on feeling good. It's very important that we're relaxed, calm, cool, and collected as we live our lives, taking every day an opportunity to take care of ourselves, be good to ourselves. Thank you, Coach Roberto. Fantastic breathing session. And now we're going to turn it over to the Toad, because the folks, they want some free crypto. That's what I hear. They want some free crypto. The kids, everybody wants some free crypto. Who's it going to be?
Who is going
There could only be one winner.
And we do have, do you see how many people? I can't see how many people we have tonight. One sec.
Participants, 50 BUSD.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Sometimes I have to check on my phone for some reason. Let me change the wheel. All right. Oops. Perfect. You guys should be able to see the screen. This is the Wheel of the Toad, as they like to call it, the All Aboard session giveaway every single day after the podcast. If you are new here, this is the giveaway we do every single day. After the podcast, all you'll have to do to enter is click onto the new sweep widget link. It's posted in the main chat, in the contest and giveaway topic channel, and in the announcements channel. If you're not in the announcements channel, do be sure to join. Just do /announcements in the chat to get the link, to get all the information. But every day after the podcast, you can find the link there. All you'll have to do is click onto that sweep widget link. You're going to be redirected to a task list. It's going to range from liking and commenting some YouTube videos, involving actually subscribing to our new ARK official ARK YouTube channel. That's one of the tasks. Retweeting some Twitter links, clapping up some Medium articles. And once you go through all the tasks there, your name is going to pop up on this lovely wheel right here. And if we have over 50 people in the podcast, we're actually going to bump it up from $50 to $100 of BUSD. But today we have under 50, so it'll be just 50 BUSD. But everyone still loves free money, so it's still a good prize. So we do this every single day. Do be sure to get involved. It takes 2 to 5 minutes of your time. It really helps push the algorithm for ARK, for the content creators. And hey, if you're even looking to start a new channel, start putting out content for the ARK, do be sure to start. And if you create a video, we'll share it on the sweep widget for you, get some subscribers for you, likes and comments, and push that algorithm. So do be sure to join the community.
All right, here we go on the count of 3, 2, 1. Let her rip.
Congratulations, G.I. Joe. You've won $50 worth of BUSD. That was a close one, too. Right on the line. Well deserved.
Free crypto. Oh, absolutely. He's always here, always present, tapped in, tuned in, and turned on to everything that's happening on the ARK and supporting these amazing content creators and the ARK. This fantastic message that we have. All right, folks, I think it's that time to bring up the Sparky. You know what to do. It's so easy. Sit back, relax, and just say, Sparky, come here. Come here, boy. So let's go ahead and make it happen. Who's going to be the lucky winner? The odds are stacked right now in your favor.
Mama was queen of the mambo, Papa was king of the Congo. Deep down in the jungle, I started banging my first bongo. Every monkey like to be in my place instead of me, cause I'm the king of bongo, baby, I'm the king of bongo bong. I went to the big town where there is a lot of sound, from the jungle to the city looking for a bigger crown. So I play my boogie for the people of big city, but they don't go crazy when I'm banging on my boogie. I'm the king of the bongo, king of the bongo. Hear me when I come, baby. King of the bongo, king of the bongo. Nobody like to be in my place instead of me, cause nobody go crazy when I'm banging on my boogie. I'm a king without a crown, hanging loose in a big town, but I'm the king of bongo, baby, I'm the king of bongo bong. King of the bongo, king of the bongo. Hear me when I come, baby. King of the bongo, king of the bongo. Hear me when I come. They say that I'm a clown, making too much dirty sound. They say there is no place for little monkey in this town. Nobody like to be in my place instead of me, cause nobody go crazy when I'm banging on my boogie. I'm the king of the bongo, king of the bongo. Hear me when I come, baby. King of the bongo, king of the bongo. Hear me when I come. Banging on my bongo, all that swing belongs to me. I'm so happy there's nobody in my place instead of me. I'm a king without a crown, hanging loose in a big town. I'm the king of bongo, baby, I'm the king of bongo bong. King of the bongo, king of the bongo. Hear me when I come, baby. King of the bongo, king of the bongo. Hear me when I come. Mama was queen of the mambo, Papa was king of the Congo. Deep down in the jungle, I started banging my first bongo. Every monkey like to be in my place instead of me, cause I'm the king of bongo, baby, I'm the king of bongo bong. Hear me when I come. Hear me when I come, baby. Hear me when I come.
All right, folks, and we have today's Spark Prize winner. Their wallet ends in 3620. They've won 663 ARK right on the nose. That's $808.75 worth of ARK Nitro Boost, bringing them right into 2% NDV, going through the roof. Congratulations. They are a first-time winner. The MVP for today. Their wallet ends in 0868. Taken into the vault, 73.67 ARK. Street value of $89.86. Congratulations, MVP. Sheesh. All right, and now it's that time, that very special time for the DeFi sessions. I've heard through the grapevine that Mr. Z has some major alpha to share with us today. Please pay attention. Get a piece of paper, get a pen, take some notes. Hope you're doing well, my friend.
What a truck.
You remember that? Hello? Mr. Z, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you again.
Awesome. Yeah, like the MacBook and the iPhone do this annoying thing of basically taking up the microphone. I'm sure you go through the same thing. So, yeah, I think you guys can hear me now.
So what happened with the bongos? You know about the bongos?
Yeah, king of the bongo. I've got a couple of bongos at home.
The king of DeFi. The DeFi sessions. The legend is here, Mr. Z.
Yeah, no, it's been a great day. Coach. You have left me breathless, and it shows me that I have to be at the gym more often. So I have to keep up with them for sure. That was a good breathing session today. What a way to start Mondays, huh? Cool.
Oh, yeah, the reset button.
reset every Monday. We're like blessed to have you here. Honestly, I'm sure everyone enjoys it. Yeah. So basically, I'm gonna try to share my screen. So if Mistletoe or anybody can tell me if they can see my screen, and then I'll start talking.
You're good.
I'm good to go. Awesome. Right. So, yeah. So the first thing I want to cover is Bitcoin's price action, and this is without fundamentals. This is without any news or any sort of influence coming through. I'm taking you guys back to like the 25th of April, and at 25th of April, people thought we were going back to 31K and above. And honestly, I wanted the same, but me being realistic and understanding technical levels, I had 2 boxes made, if you guys remember. So end of April, I created 1 box in the 26K, 25K region, and 1 box down here at the 22K region. And now what I'm going to do is, so I've kind of backtracked it there on the 25th, and if I play this through, we can see what price did over that time. So we tapped back into 30K there, and people thought we were going back up. To me, that was a triple top, and we sort of had to hit lower low. So we tapped into 26K first time on the 11th of May. Then we tapped again on the 26th of May. And here people thought we were going bullish again, and unfortunately we had a triple tap here on the bottom. And we took out 25K. So we tapped our box about 3 times in the last month. And today it really sunk in. And I think.
Did we not warn them, Mr. Z?
Yes, 3 times.
Did we not tell them? We're hoping wrong. You said it. Hope I'm wrong, but let's see what happens. And boy, there it is, folks.
So price is here now. So we've reached 25.5K, and if people think this is a bottom to buy, I'm telling you there's still space here for price to get in, and I think price will defiantly get there. And so that's what happened with Bitcoin today. Today price went from 27K down to 25K, down I think how much, 2%, about 6% from 27K. So we're down. And there's so before any major events come out and stuff, like, it's important for us to understand technical levels, and this is why it's important for people in DeFi to understand where the tops are and where the bottoms are, and nothing better than understanding the Bitcoin chart. So now let's touch into the important stuff. I've received so many DMs today, and Neto, I believe, was the last one to DM me about a few different things. Let me just get into our DeFi links into ARK now. And so we had major news today. I'm sure most of you have heard the news, so let's start to break it down a little bit. So now, I mean, we had this thing a month ago, where the information was sort of aligned, and we heard about the investigation into Binance. But today, unfortunately, the SEC took the measures of suing Binance in the U.S. District Court for unregistered securities operations. So according to the regulator, Binance failed to register as a security exchange and operated illegally in the United States. So they basically got Binance on 13 charges right now. So I'm going to kind of read through this this little bit here, so you guys we can sort of dissect this. But yeah, so the U.S. regulator pressed.
Is that the Binance.com or the Binance.us company?
Binance.us. Both in fact. They charge Binance and then Binance US. So we had 2 countermeasures. They first started off with Binance US last month, and today they acknowledged Binance as an entity. It's US platform, so Binance US, and they also put up a suit against CZ. So yeah, let me just read through this. Let us read through this out because it's important to understand.
Did we not tell them this too, Z?
Yeah. We have a pulse on
Why we're going to Polygon. The whole reasons that we don't want to be caught like a deer in the headlights. But yes, continue. It's very interesting. Plays right into the narrative.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, the U.S. regulator pressed 13 charges against Binance, including unregistered offers and sales of BNB, Binance USD token, the Simple Earn, and BNB Vault products, and its staking programs. In addition, the SEC alleges in the suit that Binance failed to register its Binance.com platform as an exchange or broker-deal clearing agency. Further, it claims Binance and BAM Trading, Binance US legal entity, failed to register Binance US as an exchange, broker, and clearing agency. CZ was sued as a controlling person. So this is what it's a 40-page suit, and I'm glad Cointelegraph kind of highlighted the main things, so I don't have to go through them. But so the defendant have enriched themselves by billions of US dollars whilst placing investors' assets at significant risk. Defendant have engaged in multiple unregistered offers and sales of crypto assets, securities, and other investment schemes. It continued the defendant BAM Trading and BAM Management defrauded equity, retail, and institutional investors about perpetrated surveillance and controls over manipulative trading on the Binance US platform. So that's the, I think, 7th count, which were in fact virtually non-existent. Among the allegations behind the charges are claims that Binance failed to restrict US investors from using Binance.com, and that Binance US engaged in washing trading. These are huge allegations. So this is the 8th allegation. US engaged in wash trading through its primarily undisclosed market-making trading firm, Sigma Chain, which is owned by CZ. So what they're saying is pretty interesting. What they're saying is, first, they defrauded their community, and on top of that, they also manipulated price action by using Sigma chain, which is bizarre. So in addition to the suit claim that funds from Binance and Binance US were commingled in an account controlled. So now they're talking about CZ, right? So this is the CZ part. So counts 9 to 12. In addition to suit claims that funds from Binance and Binance US were commingled in an account controlled by CZ's associated Merit Peak Limited, these charges echo complaints filed by Commodity Futures Trading Commission on March the 27th. So that's the first complaint that they made. That was on the end of March, right? So we had the CFTC sort of file the complaint against Binance US, and today the SEC continued. So this is what Gary Gensler had to say in a statement. Because as alleged, Zhao and Binance misled investors about their risk controls and corrupted trading volumes while actively concealing who were operating the platform, the manipulative trading of its affiliated market maker, and even where and with whom investors' funds and crypto assets were custodied. So the SEC is demanding permanent enjoyment on Binance and CZ from further activities, disgorgement of ill-gotten gains with interest and financial penalties. Now this is the interesting part. So the suit claims that the tokens, let me just zoom into this a little bit so people can see this. The suit claims that tokens traded on the Binance exchange were securities. This is the first allegation. Those tokens are, so now this is something really interesting because we have the Ripple thing coming up next month. And this is the securities argument. So this is the SEC showing their hand. So they're saying the tokens that they classify as securities are BNB, BUSD, Solana, Cardano, Polygon, Filecoin, Cosmos, the Sandbox, Decentraland, Algorand, Axie Infinity, and Coty. Binance and Binance US responded separately to the suit. So yeah, we've had a statement out from Binance and Binance US, and I gotta thank Neto for like sending me one of the blogs. but here it highlights the main sort of countermeasures that Binance US took. So stated in a tweet, the SEC claims are its latest example of regulation by enforcement. The suit is baseless, and we intend to defend ourselves vigorously. So now they're kind of repeating the same sort of statement they made in March the 27th when the CFTC filed the complaint. So from the start, we have actively cooperated with the SEC's investigation and have worked hard to answer their questions and address their concerns. Whilst we take the SEC allegations seriously, they should not be the subject of an SEC enforcement action, let alone on an emergency basis. Any allegations that user assets on the Binance US platform have ever been at risk are simply wrong. The SEC's actions here appear to be in service of an effort to rush to claim jurisdictional grounds from other regulators, and investors do not appear to be the SEC's priority. So this is, now let me just bring up the blog, and this is the important part that Binance are making folks understand. That basically before the SEC could like put this countermeasure out, they did not care for the investors fund, and the other thing they're saying is that they didn't care about the investors, they didn't care about the sort of domino effect that it has on crypto, and basically they were just looking out to make a statement. They were looking to get some media reports. So let me just read this here. So we are disappointed that the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission chose to file a complaint today against Binance seeking, among other remedies, purported emergency relief. From the start, we have actively cooperated with the SEC investigation and have worked hard to answer the questions and address the concern. Most recently, we have engaged in extensive good faith discussions to reach a negotiated settlement to resolve their investigation. But despite our efforts with this complaint today, the SEC abandoned, so this is important, right? So the SEC abandoned that process, instead chose to act unilaterally and litigate. We are disheartened by that choice. So we intend to defend our platform vigorously. Unfortunately, the SEC's refusal to productively engage with us is just another example of the Commission's misguided, conscious refusal to provide much-needed clarity and guidance to the digital assets industry. Today's do I have a few minutes to read through this, or are we on a rush, Alice?
No, this is very important.
Okay. Thank you. So yeah, I'm going to continue reading. So today's action is another in a line of examples where, as with other crypto projects facing similar suits, so now they're like comparing their thing with what we saw with sort of OKX and Block, a few other sort of exchanges. The Commission has determined to regulate with the blunt weapon of enforcement and litigation rather than the thoughtful, nuanced approach demanded by the dynamic and complex technology. Unilaterally labeling certain tokens and services as securities, even ones over which other U.S. authorities have asserted jurisdictions, only compound these problems. Perhaps most surprising, the SEC's actions undermines. Now, this is the interesting thing. So we've touched on basically the securities allegations. We've touched on using litigation and enforcement instead of cooperation. And now this is what Binance had to say about America's role in the global sort of crypto scene, right? So perhaps most surprising, the SEC's action undermines America's role as a global hub for financial innovation and leadership. Digital asset laws remain largely undeveloped in much of the world, and regulation by enforcement is not the best path forward. An effective regulatory framework demands collaborative, transparent, and thoughtful policy engagement, a path the SEC has, abandoned. And to be clear, any allegations that user assets on the Binance US platform have ever been at risk are simply wrong. There is zero justification for the staff action in light of the ample time the staff has had to conduct their investigation. All users' assets on Binance and Binance-affiliated platforms, including Binance US, are safe and secure, and we will vigorously defend against any allegations to the contrary. Rather, the SEC actions here appear to be in service of an effort to rush to claim jurisdictional ground from other regulators. And investors do not appear to be SEC. Yeah, this is the interesting. So they repeated here. And the investors do not appear to be the SEC's priority. Because of our size and global name recognition, Binance is an easy target caught in the middle of a U.S. regulatory tug of war. It seems, based on these developments, that the SEC's goal was never to protect investors. I agree. Like today, the price fell. Bitcoin, BNB, and Ethereum fell by 7 to 12%. And in DeFi, we saw some coins went down to like 55, 60%. It seemed, based on these developments, that the SEC's goal here was never to protect investors. If that were truly the case, the staff would have thoughtfully engaged with us on the fact and in our efforts to demonstrate the safety and security of Binance US platform. The SEC's real intent here, now this is the interesting part, the SEC's real intent here instead appears to be to make headlines. So we will continue to cooperate with regulators and policymakers in the US and across the globe because that is the right thing to do. And Binance remains committed to productive engagement to ensure the next generation of cryptocurrency regulations fosters innovation whilst implementing and ensuring important consumer protection. Because Binance is not a US exchange, the SEC's exchange actions are limited in reach. Still, we stand with digital assets market participants in the US in opposition to the SEC's latest overreach, and we are prepared to fight it until the full extent of the law. We will work alongside industry partners to defend this important technology from misguided lawsuits, and will remain we will maintain our unceasing efforts to deliver a safe and trusted platform for our users that hold true to our core value of furthering the freedom of money. Really damn strong statement.
Money can't.
It's a fight. Yeah. It's a fight. I mean, they have reserves. They have plenty of cash. They got Safu Fund. He just, these aren't criminal charges. Let's be clear, right? These are lawsuits. But the way that they're even phrased seems like if there was a conviction, they might even try to even go that route. Maybe I'm, going too far ahead. It's something like this could potentially take years, right, Z?
Yeah, this is like the like what Ripple are going through. This is gonna take. So this is why the Ripple case is so damn important right now, because if Ripple win their case and basically crypto gets the sort of ruling of it being a commodity or a cryptocurrency asset, then this whole lawsuit is baseless, because that's what they're basically basing it around. They're basing it around 12 assets and calling them securities. And it's pretty interesting that they're calling like Matic, all these different, and the interesting thing is, like, they've not mentioned Bitcoin or Ethereum in the lawsuit. They're calling Solana a security, Cardano. So because like Hoskinson, I'm sure is going to say something about this, because he's been doing he took the long route with Cardano. Like he did the peer-to-peer sort of work with Princeton University and done like so much more. So for them to call Cardano a security, Polygon a security, Cosmos ecosystem a security, the future of the metaverse, right? Sandbox, Decentraland securities, Algorand, big utility, and Axie Infinity, one of the biggest games to succeed on DeFi. So this is going to be a long one. I don't, and I feel this is in line with the elections that are about to happen, and I'm sure that the SEC and Gensler will be making the statement more than a few times after November that we went after the mobsters, and which is so wrong. Like everyone, like since Binance has stopped like allowing folks to sort of deposit in America, people have been having issues purchasing crypto, and it's sad. But I'll let Neto say something here because he's been waiting.
Briefly. No, thank you. This is game on war. This is game on war. So yeah, you touched on one of the questions, Z. Thank you so much for this, bringing this to everyone's attention as well. As far as the securities, they're alleging these tokens example as securities, but that's pending the XRP results. So that's why you were saying it's irrelevant if whatever they're saying, right? For this point.
Yeah.
Okay. And then when they go after, I don't know, they're naming Binance.com as well. Not just US. So that's what Brandon asked. So I thought I was briefly before looking at how Binance is structured. It's so nebulous and so convoluted. There is no clear entity or hierarchy in how it's operating. How are they actually able to name? Like, I mean, they're just naming CZ, or how are they actually going to enforce that? Like, it's global. It's global and under a bunch of companies and structures and layers. You know, it's very advanced, complex.
It's very complex. Because like when Binance.com first started, it was a pathway because people were having issues with Bitfinex and other sorts of places to buy Bitcoin. So it was an exchange to start with. So that was its first sort of module in 2015-16. Then when Ethereum had its issues with proof of work, then it created Binance Smart Chain, right? So then Binance Smart Chain was created. But as Binance Smart Chain was created, it was sort of like these products were building on its own. So now, like compared to what Binance is now, compared to like maybe 6 years ago, it's like billions and billions of dollars upwards. So yeah, like they're not like it started off with CFTC alleging Binance US being the entity, but now to see that they're actually targeting Binance, the monopoly of finance, and not just showing Binance, but adding into it lawsuits against CZ personally. That's interesting because CZ is not a American citizen. As I think he was a Canadian citizen for a short span of time, and then he gave it all up for Singapore. And I think Vitalik did the same thing. Charles, not Hoskinson, but Gavin Woods did the same thing. A bunch of people from the Ethereum Foundation did the same thing. So for them to target CZ and him not being an American citizen is another sort of factor that CZ can argue, and I'm sure like CZ will talk about their authorization for like financial institution in the UAE, in Bermuda, in Singapore, as ways of defense, because now it's not Binance US that they're going after. Now it's Binance, the whole entity. So we're gonna see how this thing plays out, but it like I think a few things I have to agree with is they did not think about investors. They did not. Like people are holding these tokens, right? So tokens like Matic, Polygon, these are utility-based tokens with billions of dollars behind them in liquidity. So Solana, Cardano, Polygon, all of these tokens are down right now. So some of them 70 to 80%, some of them down 20% today. And the SEC did not take in any sort of litigation that they're hurting investors. They're supposed to protect us, right? The SEC was created so complaints can be put in against fraud, and why are they sort of superior? Because they protect your investments. That they don't want the people to be hurt. And if you think about like the 10 to 20 million Americans that have their tokens in Solana, in Cardano, and Cosmos, for the SEC to come out the way they have just to make headlines, it's baseless. And this is like this will be countered. I'm sure it is. But yeah, they did not take care of the investors. And they had it's not like Binance were hiding stuff. Like they had an open dialogue for 4 months, and we covered this. several times on DeFi sessions this year, where Binance did open up a dialogue and a transparent dialogue. They said, here's our papers, here's our filings, this is Binance Smart Chain, this is the Block Explorer, and you guys make what you want of it. But for them to say that CZ was commingling and leaving people's assets at risk, which is wrong. Like Binance.com never rug pulled on its investors. They went through several hacks in the early days, but since then they've countered quite hard. So yeah, that's my opinion. If you guys want to add to it,
they don't care. That's a very obvious. They don't care about investors or the fallout or the ramifications of this litigation and the fallout. Nor are they concerned about playing a greater role in digital assets space globally, because people are moving out, like we talked. And they clear, and probably SEC is more interested in holding Bitcoin and Ethereum, since that wasn't mentioned, like you said. But one thing I'm curious on, and I can echo what you're pointing out too, Z, is this is ahead of the election. This is ahead of halving. This is ahead of the presumed next bull run or bull cycle. And also, as a side point, there have been I'm not sure if the audience is aware. There have been this is pertaining to Puerto Rico. You may be aware that there are incentives for certain U.S. Since you mentioned people who renounced before from Ethereum and CZ, there have been an incentive program that was quite pretty popular. Thousands of people, not too much, going to Puerto Rico for the tax incentives. This was the only route for people to not renounce their citizenship to do it. But as of recently, and it came to my attention, and Brandon, by the way, is doing this or has done this. So he's if you don't mind me mentioning, and in Puerto Rico. So what they have done recently is there was a 2-year-old bill that they now recently voted on, and I believe this month they're going to be voting for provisional approval. Basically what it was doing is closing the doors. It's a bill 149, I believe. It's basically closing the doors and making the requirements for adhering to your decree, should you apply for it now, like from now onward, is essentially prohibitive. So it's skyrocketing prices, absolutely absurd, obscene, astronomical cost to comply. You need to hire a ton of people. You need to park millions in the system, in the investment fund or something like that. It's completely nonsensical. So what they're doing is they're doing all this they're locking down an opportunity, really, completely shutting the door to opportunity for new investors or new people who want to stay as U.S. citizens. So this is just another example. Maybe they did an agreement with U.S. or something for aid or future, but yeah, the doors are closing, and it's going to continue. So now it's on lockdown. So there's no longer any opportunity for a U.S. citizen to seek a tax incentive program through Puerto Rico route from essentially this month. Yeah, because actually now on, you're no longer available. Just want to throw that out.
That's bizarre, man. That is simply bizarre. Like, they're trying, like these sort of things, they can base it on countless measures, but the truth is, when you're hurting your own citizens and you're taking an opportunity like this away from like America's the land of opportunity, man. Like I lived in America in Silicon Valley, and we can go to it, all the inventions that have come from there, and for that to have Web 1.0 and 2.0 go through its sort of measurements and not allow Web3 to develop in its like if you look at MiCA, like the way the Europeans have taken it, like compare that to what the SEC are doing is bizarre. Because MiCA, like they mentioned it in their press conferences multiple times, that we cannot, we do not want to control the development of decentralized finance. Like these are their words. We don't want to. We want to encourage its growth, and we feel that this is something that's still building itself up. We cannot interfere in its development, right? Like it's a big highlight from the MiCA that we cannot interfere with its development. We've seen, I think 70 plus VCs actually come out from the closet and say, yes, we want to be regulated in Europe. And I think Europe is going to start to become one of the biggest investors in crypto that way. So it opens it up. It opens it up to entrepreneurs in Europe to basically start building their protocols and yeah, it's just bizarre where things are going.
I would disagree, but you're very versed in this. But yeah, I mean, I don't. It's probably not a coincidence that the regulation is coming ahead of the next cycle, and I would not consider them all benign in terms of not wanting to regulate. You see, your position is regulation is good. It provides guidance, it provides clarity, so more participants, and that's great. But I guess for people that are already in it, it's different. But one thing I didn't mention is that in Puerto Rico, there's a pretty big, like the crypto community, a lot of wealth actually from crypto. Brock, was it from Bios, Indorado, and other players, like some big players. I had a convo with one dude who played poker with him before. But anyways, that's something that's notable. That's notable because they want to prevent more people to do that, to follow that path. So they're no longer allowing that happening. So I like to try to connect the dots a little bit, but I don't feel that it's benign out to protect you. You feel like we're from the government, we're here to protect you. I mean, that's the message. And you truly believe that? I mean, please. We can protect ourselves. We own our keys. We don't want safety nets, so to speak. We don't want more guidance. We don't want more control or restriction. We don't want fewer options for trading, for ramping it out. Where is this going? You can see it. You can see what's happening, right? Is it all good? Generally not. My view, at least.
I appreciate your viewpoint, Neto. But yeah, it's going to be an ongoing thing, and it's just like aligning with the Ripple thing. And I want to see how Ripple sort of come out with sort of the security measure, as you say. So we'll see how this points out. But yeah, shots were fired, and sort of Bitcoin went from 27K to 25K in a couple of candles after this notice. So we can see people are in fear right now. Like if we look into the fear and greed index, where are we? We were neutral for a few weeks, or a few months, I can say. But now I think we are in fear. I think, let's see, still in neutral. Okay, interesting. But yeah, that's what the price action is showing, and this is what the suit is. There's other news I have, but I think I'll conclude it here. I think this was quite a big discussion.
It was. And let's open it up, see if there's anyone else that has a comment, wants to add, their point of view. This is the time.
I have a comment, but it's just, I think it's something everybody knows. The biggest manipulators of the market is the SEC. And I wouldn't be surprised further down the track when we find out that they're the ones who are making billions of dollars out of the market because of just stupid comments that they make or these stupid lawsuits that they pursue.
Thank you, Sneaky Sash. Who else? Dr. Marcel, did you want to say something? I see your microphone is unmuted. If you're speaking, we cannot hear you. Can anyone hear Dr. Marcel?
No, I can't hear if he's trying.
Let me mute him, and if he does want to speak, let's see here. We're going to open it up. And let's see. No, Dr. Marcel, we cannot hear you, sir. You want to log back out, back in.
I just like whilst we wait for Marcel, I want to see what statements Polygon, Solana, Cosmos, Algorand have to say about this, because now they're also enlightened to be notified. But so here, the suit claims that tokens traded on Binance security exchanges were securities. So they're accusing these tokens to be securities. Each and every one of them, BNB, BUSD, Solana, Cardano, Polygon. Now here's the thing that kind of surprised me, because Polygon is based on Ethereum, right? It's a layer 2. So how do you call that a security?
Why did they put any stable coins in there?
True.
I think that's even more interesting.
Absolutely.
Why did they not?
No USDC,
So
no USD.
So you guys feel comfortable about Poly, even though it's named here?
Yes. And anyway, we've always said that going to Polygon is a step while we build our own layer 1, fully decentralized, off-grid, away from all these heinous debacles. So it is our stepping stone, and we're going to pick up a lot of investors there as we move, but this is going to take its time. But definitely better to be over there. See, they're not an exchange. Let's be clear. They've, slapped on the wrist for providing yield to Coinbase, to Kraken, and now the big elephant, in the room, and we know this is coming, is CZ and Binance. These are the clear on and off ramps for the space. If people cannot trade, because we can always go to DEXs, right? But how do we go from crypto to your bank account so people can, spend their crypto? These are the rails. This is the crypto friendly bank. Maybe that's not the best term, but it is the place where folks are able to come on and off. So they're definitely cramping down. Do we have Dr. Marcel back in? We don't see him here yet. Is there anyone else who has a comment, question? Coach Roberto, I think you put everybody to sleep. You wore them out.
So let me just absolutely. Like, one thing I just want to sort of point out. So in addition, the suit claims that funds from Binance and Binance US were commingled. This is a big allegation, man. Like for them to say funds are commingled, controlled by CZ.
I've heard some rumors that look, you gotta be careful. You don't get this big without making mistakes. There's when you go to the level that Binance has, and doing business with FTX and the investing in them, I would guess that if you look hard enough, you're always going to find a mistake, or you're going to find an edge that any business has. Just like if you look at government, you're going to find, corruption. You're going to find, side deals and, opportunities for certain folks that were close. And someone who I respect, they told me months ago, they're like, there is a smoking gun, and that could come out. Do you see what I'm saying?
You mean
the way these folks work is they have a smoking gun, but they hit you with 20, 15 charges. They stack everything up, and then they make you fight through all of that when there might just be a little box with a smoking gun in it. And maybe it was just shooting up in the air, didn't kill anybody, but there's a gun, it shouldn't be. Do you follow what I'm saying? That's generally how federal cases work. They throw the book at you, and then they negotiate, well, we're going to take this charge off, we're going to take that part off, but you have to own up to this or the other. And it's just like a chess move. We've seen this happen if you watch any of these sort of special victims unit, right? Those kind of shows where they're going through the legal process and they're showing how it plays out. And at this level, I mean, they throw the book. Would you say, Z, these accusations and charges are a lot more extreme than Ripple? Just the whole spirit narrative and accusations of it, pretty intense. Yeah, no, it almost reads like a criminal charge to me.
Yeah. Like you're saying, there's commingling happening between two companies. You're saying, customers sort of finance was at risk. You've got 12 different charges. So now Binance have a big due diligence, and they have to make sure that they build a real legal team that can tap into all 12 things and make them all sort of baseless. And I think that's why the Ripple thing, the Ripple case was in fact, Ripple could have settled it. In fact, if Ripple wanted to, they could have settled it, but they did not like the fact that the securities was a classification given to their token.
And if it settled, the SEC would take everything over.
Yep.
Everything. It's like, when the bank goes kaput, right? And then they come to pay the funds and take care of the people. They take everything over. It's all frozen. So pack up your shit and leave. It's pretty much the way they run that. So it's not like, okay, slap on the wrist, fine, you keep on moving. No, it's you're out of here, right? You're done.
Absolutely.
Z?
Yeah.
You guys mentioned, you underlined that stable coins were not mentioned here. So is that mean it's not like a threat, or how do you interpret that?
At this point, I'm the reason why they're not meant, like, this is my reason for not asking for stable coins is because these are the main tokens that sort of enlist. I mean, when Binance, when you buy USDT, there's been times when Binance have not had the amount of sort of the reserves to basically move USDC or stuff. So I think BUSD is its classification as a stable. I don't think Binance has as much USDT in their regard to be listing it. I think these are the most traded assets on Binance. That's why they're listed. I think there's much more to come.
Well, the most traded is USDT. I can guarantee you that, which is interesting. But what happens with Coinbase? What happens with Kraken? Don't they have these tokens? Are they next? Yeah. It's about reading between the lines. So, I mean, this is a straight shot, right? This isn't a warning shot. This is a straight shot right to the chest of this whole organization. So if it's being attacked, wouldn't the American exchanges also fall into the accusations at some point?
The thing is, like, what you do is you make an example first, and that's just, they did the same thing when the first tech bubble happened. When this is why there was no more like sort of Napster and Netscape, and like Netscape ceased to exist because of this as well, because of sort of consent. Like they had AltaVista, Netscape, and a bunch of tech companies in the early 90s taken down in the same way. And then what you saw happen was like I think 500 tech companies went bust, and then you then you had the main sort of like government contracts given out, like handouts to Google, to Microsoft, to Facebook, and then they were able to develop and sort of spend the next decade building their empires. This is how the SEC does it. It goes after an industry, and then it handpicks the ones that it wants to do business with. And I think it's trying to do the same.
Yeah, but in this case, Z, is it not likely that the result, the reasoning for this is not stated overtly, but it is because of the CBDC introduction? So it's literally a competitor, not like, oh, we want to regulate the industry and then control it. We actually don't want it to flourish, DeFi, for example, because we're going to create our CBDCs. But the bankings are imposing so much pressure too. There's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that are probably happening. Like, do you interpret it as that, like, differently than before, like when it was restructured with different, like with the .com and things before?
The CBDC thing, I would say, is still under question mark, because like I think half the states in America, like they haven't opposed it yet, but I mean you're hearing about DeSantis, for example, opposing CBDCs touching the city of Florida and the state of Miami. So you're seeing, and then there's other states that are also taking the same jurisdictions around CBDC. So I think overall this is a Democrat v Republican sort of debate, and I have no opinion on it, but what I'll say is it's going to be something that's going to be in conversation from November onwards. You're going to hear about it in most town halls. You're going to hear it in the election. So I think, how many candidates are there for election this year? There's quite a few, right? It's not like, I think it feels like everyone's running. So every participant's going to make their sort of statement. I believe the Republicans will talk about the interest rate hikes, the SEC informants, the regulation, and how these things have to be taken down for investors to come to America. I think that's the Republican sort of argument, and then the Democratic thing is like, we have to keep things secure. We cannot let Russian and Chinese sort of commingling happening in between cryptocurrency, and this is their sort of angle of tornado cash. So there's all these things that are going to be sort of happening this year. But I think this is the example of it. I mean, we have to give kudos to Ripple, who did not settle, right? If they settled, and securities was defined around all these tokens here, then all these tokens would have been taken down, and Binance, they wouldn't even have to do a lawsuit. They would have just like said, it's like Ripple's case gives us the advantage of coinciding that Binance overall, it has sold a bunch of securities without paying their due diligence. So precedents, yeah. So there's all these different sorts of angles to it, and we'll see. I mean, like it's something that like I predicted for the last month when the CFTC thing came out. I'm like, this is gonna, now the SEC are going to come out. Like, this is going to happen sooner rather than later, because they made the complaint. CFTC made a complaint about that, about BUSD as a stable. I'm like, this is the start of something much bigger. But even now, like once I'm reading these 12 or 13 sort of statements, I'm finding a bunch of biases on these charges. So we'll see how this carries out. But I think this is a big sign that I think Coinbase and your Krakens and all these big sort of like exchanges are going to start leaving.
Yeah, they're endangered. They're endangered now. So what do you think though? If it becomes a point where they no longer, okay, firstly, is the reason for Binance.com or whatever entity involved that's being named with CZ, is the reason why they're actually still cooperating with them even though they're not in the US is because they can, like SEC can, or US can influence or impose restriction of use in other countries for Binance, and that's why they need to handle it, because otherwise it would be precedents if they just abandon, because there becomes a point where this is too onerous to deal with, and says to the hell with you and everyone else, like everyone else is leaving anyways, Bermuda and whatnot, right, and the other exchanges. So what's that's the two-part thing. What's the reason for them to deal with SEC if they're not operating US, and what's the limit? Like, do you think there will be a point where they just leave and just ignore America? Like, that's what looks like it's going to. But what do you think?
I believe like America's, even though like it's doing what it is, it still has a bunch of like a lot of like financial power. It's still a super sort of entity when it comes to regulation. It has way too many sort of communal effects around the world, and if you look at the U.S. dollar, this month has been my studying of understanding the proportions of what the U.S. dollar really is, and it's a component just like the indexes of euro, I believe, the yen, and the yuan. Like if you start to see, so America is so if America basically has an effect or a sanction, then as we know, sanctions are sort of like any country that sort of like agreed a gas deal with Russia in the last like 7 months has been sort of compliant and basically has had to deal with the American entity from that side. So America still holds a bunch of power on that. But yeah, it's like I want to see how this plays out. I'm sure that the Europeans will have their sort of base point around it. I think the Middle East, when it comes to like UAE and sort of like Saudi and these sort of countries opening up to allowing CZ and others to work. Bermuda is another one. Bahamas is another one. So that there's all these sorts of like you can say it's like a network effect. But it hit crypto today. Today crypto was down 7%. We went from 27K Bitcoin down to 25K. And that was not for me to brag on the charts. It's just this is how big this news is.
Okay, but so you're saying that the sanctions, in short, the sanctions would be infect other facets of their business. So they would propagate in other countries. So they would no longer be able to do business, right? If U.S. sanction them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it goes that because we've seen that happen with other companies before. Once you have sort of an SEC notice, it hits your finances in all the sort of correlated countries to like the American agreement. But we'll, as I said, like it's still early days. It's way early. And I'm sure we're going to hear about this week in, week out now, just like we did with Ripple. So I'm not going to say any more, because anything more we say right now is just speculatory.
Yeah, sure, but it does.
And with that, let's go ahead and conclude the podcast. We've gone very, very long today, folks. We could stay after for some Q&A for those that want to. I want to thank everyone that came out here today. Congratulations to the Spark Rewards winner. I know who it is. They've been very patient. I'm not going to dox them here. If they want to come and let us know, they're more than welcome to. Congratulations to the MVP also for today. Fantastic day here on the ARK. We're very excited. We're looking forward to so much coming our way. Working very hard, folks. Thank you all for your patience, for your continued support, enthusiasm, looking at the bright future, understanding that there's always ups and downs. There's no guarantees in life. We don't even know if tomorrow our air is going to be available. But we plan, we set ourselves up, we do the hard work to ensure that we have a bright future. For the folks listening, thank you so much for your participation, listening to the podcast. We hope you found it educational as well as entertaining. And it's going to be amazing for all of you folks when we have every day the recordings over on YouTube. You're going to have chapters. You're going to be able to get to the information that you're seeking immediately. And it's going to be just I believe, more of a pleasant and easier experience than having to scroll through. I mean, just today we're in here 2 hours and 22 minutes. That's quite long. Having the feature of the chapters on YouTube is going to simplify so much, and it's going to be fantastic. Very excited about that, folks. And we wish you a really fantastic rest of your day. Back tomorrow, same time, 4 p.m. EST, 8 p.m. UTC. Take care of yourselves. Be good to each other. We'll see you tomorrow.